Another day was over. In the soft dark, the cotton truck spilled the pickers out and roared out of the yard with a sound like a giant's fart. The workers stepped around in circles for a few seconds as if they had found themselves unexpectedly in an unfamiliar place. Their minds sagged. In the store, the men's faces were the most painful to watch, but I seemed to have no choice when they tried to smile to carry off their tiredness as if it was nothing. The body did nothing to help the mind's attempt at disguise. Their shoulders drooped even as they laughed, and when they put their hands on their hips in a show of jauntiness, the palms slipped the thighs as if the pants were waxed. Evening, Sister Henderson. Well, back where we started, huh? Yes, sir, Brother Stewart. Back where you started, bless the Lord. Mama could not take the smallest achievement for granted. People whose history and future were threatened each day by extinction considered that it was only by divine intervention that they were able to live at all. I find it interesting that the meanest life, the poorest existence, is attributed to God's will. But as human beings become more affluent, as their living standard and style began to ascend the material scale, God descends the scale of responsibility at a commensurate speed. That's just who gets the credit. Yes, ma'am, the blessed Lord. Their overalls and shirts seemed to be torn on purpose, and the cotton lint and dust in their hair gave them the appearance of people who had turned gray in the past few hours. The women's feet had swollen to fill the discarded men's shoes they wore, and they washed their arms at the well to dislodge dirt and splinters that had accrued to them as part of the day's picking. I thought them all hateful to have allowed themselves to be worked like oxen, and even more shameful to try to pretend that things were not as bad as they were. When they leaned too hard on the partly glass candy counter, I wanted to tell them shortly to stand up and assume the posture of a man, but Mama would have beaten me if I'd opened my mouth. She ignored the creaks of the counter under the weight and moved around, filling their orders and keeping up a conversation. "Going to put your dinner on, Sister Williams?" Bailey and I helped Mama, while Uncle Willie sat on the porch and heard the day's account. "Praise the Lord. No, ma'am. Got enough left over from last night to do us. We're going home and get cleaned up and go to the revival meeting. Go to the church in that cloud of weariness. Not to go home and lay those tortured bones in a featherbed. The idea came to me that my people may be a race of masochists, and that not only was it our fate to live the poorest, roughest life, but that we liked it like that. I know what you mean, Sister Williams. Got to feed the soul just like you feed the body. I am taking the children too, the Lord willing. Good books say, raise a child in the way he should go, and he will not depart from it. That's what it say. Sure it what it say. The cloth tent had been set on the flatlands in the middle of a field near the railroad tracks. The earth was carpeted with a silky layer of dried grass and cotton stalks. Collapsible chairs were poked into the still soft ground, and a large wooden cross was hung from the center beam at the right of the tent. Electric lights had been strung from behind the pulpit to the entrance flap and continued outside on poles made of rough 2x4s. Approached in the dark, the swaying bulbs looked lonely and purposeless, not as if they were there to provide light or anything meaningful. And the tent, that blurry, bright, three-dimensional A, was so foreign to the cotton field that it might just get up and fly away before my eyes. People suddenly visible in the lamplight Stream toward the temporary church, the adults' voices relay the serious intent of their mission. Greetings were exchanged, hushed. Evening, sister, how are you? Bless the Lord, just trying to make it in. Their minds were concentrated on the coming meeting, soul to soul with God. This was no time to indulge in human concerns.